Homer led the league in tackles with 85. The deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Bryce and Alene. And Alene weaving his way all the way down to the 22.
10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, dancing all around. Throwing as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver. You're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
What's up, Shady Sports Network, Wichita Regulator Nation? I'm here with episode 2 of The Peak. Very special guest, quarterback for the Wichita Regulators, Xae Holliday. Xae, how are we doing today, big dog?
I'm doing good, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, really excited to have you. So, I kind of want to dive right in here. You finished the 2023 season at Warner University. You guys went 4-6. Not what you expected, but talk about the struggles of this past season.
I don't really like to think of them as struggles. I think of them more as challenges. And these are a couple challenges I knew coming in. When I transferred into Warner last year, I knew there was a young team. I knew it was a young coaching staff, and I knew it was going to take some time and some work to turn that corner. The program hadn't won a game in about 2 years before I got here. So there was a lot of work to do. A lot of the challenges dealing with younger minds, less mature individuals on the team that we had to help mature, and help them grow throughout the season. We dealt with some hurdles throughout the season, especially early on. And I think towards the end of the season is when a lot of that growth and maturity kind of started to catch up. And, unfortunately, my last year eligibility, but that program's definitely headed in the right direction.
For sure. And so for those who don't know, Warner University, Division I school in the National Christian College Association in the South region. Man, National Christian College Association, I've heard many things, but I want to hear from you as a player. What's the level of competition like?
When you talk about NAIA, I'm not too familiar with the National Christian College Association, but I know it as being a part of the NAIA. I think the Sun Conference is very comparable to Division II, NCAA. I can't say the same for all NAIA because I think it really just depends on the conference you're in. But I know our conference, we had a lot of tough competition. We played against, the number 1 team in the nation, just won national championship, Kaiser University. They've got a bunch of, Division I, Division II transfers. St. Thomas University, Florida Memorial University down back at home in Miami. Same deal with them. Then we got a rival up the street, Southeastern University, same deal. So regardless of what the level of play is labeled, it's definitely a lot of Division I, Division II talent in this conference. So once you start playing conference games here, it's a battle every week. There is no week off. Very, very competitive.
That's really good. And, you're used to competitive environments at Langston University, great HBCU. You won a 2019 championship with them. Talk about that season and the competitiveness of that program as a whole.
Yeah, that season was amazing. Honestly, throughout my entire journey, I would say that's one of my favorite stops throughout the entire journey. One of the biggest things being at Langston, I think, is I learned where to be a champion. I've always had a champion's mindset and a competitive mindset. I've always had the work ethic, but to actually win a championship, I think is where you finally learn what it takes to be a champion. Because, we all can say, yeah, it takes dedication, it takes grit, it takes grind, but to actually have done it, that was a very special thing. And the guys that I was surrounded with at Langston, we were all like-minded guys. a very talented group, and a very confident group. And I think that's where a lot of my confidence grew as well. You know, I've always been what some people would call overconfident, but definitely being at Langston, my confidence grew a ton. You know, we were a type of group, we knew we were going to come out and beat you every Saturday. If you look at those box scores, we're beating people by 60, 70 points consistently. And we just knew we're here to do one job and one job only. So being around that atmosphere, being at that program, that great university, you know, the real LU, you know, is definitely a special part of my journey, and it's always going to be dear to my heart.
LU is awesome, and what does it mean to you to be an HBCU athlete?
It means a ton. It means a ton. It's not easy, you know, going to an HBCU and trying to make it out of an HBCU. It's not easy at all. I think HBCU athletes, we don't get the attention and exposure, nor do we get the respect that we deserve. You know, a lot of people, especially when you look at the next level, you know, NFL, XFL, a lot of these leagues, they take HBCU athletes for granted. And a lot of them, it's like being shunned down, you know. And there's a lot of talent, you know, within the SWAC, the MEAC, CIAA, SIAC, and even the independent HBCUs that are in some of these off conferences. It's a ton of talent, you know, and it's a great level of competition.
So, you've kind of been in a lot of different environments. Some have been tough, some have been good. But one of my favorite environments you've been in is Elizabeth City. You kind of seen it from that perspective too. How do you think the school is run overall, and how is the football program built?
Oh, well, you know, I spent a year and a half there. So I can't say, you know, it's hard for me to compare, you know, when we talk about the past, the time that I was there, and now the current future. But I would say it's headed in a good direction, a better direction. You know, Coach Hill over there, he's doing some things, helping the program advance and get better. Elizabeth City's been struggling for a while, and it's more behind the scenes going on as well. You know, it's more than just the coaching and the athletes and the school environment and the money. You know, some of it falls on alumni. You know, I think we had a very strong alumni at Elizabeth City, but I also think it could have been stronger. I think from administration, I think there could have been more help. I think there could have been more push, you know, to help the school overall. You know, and like I said, it's headed in a good direction. Basketball is doing really great. Softball is doing great. Football teams turning around, and they're starting to come back and get over 500, which I believe they'll do a great job of this season. And yeah, that's pretty much my take on it.
I kind of want to dive into a little bit of you off the field. You're from Miami, Florida, 305. We all know that coach is flashy, it's buzzy. There's a lot of things going on. Being from Miami, what's your big takeaway?
Confidence and swagger. There's nobody like us, you know. And I think, you know, it's funny because everywhere I go, we're kind of loved and hated at the same time. You know, I've been in so many different places around the country throughout, whether it's playing football or just doing business, and it's like people. One, we're very distinct. You know, people can tell. You know, like even from Miami versus Florida. Like I tell people all the time, I'm not from Florida. I'm from Miami. It's a big difference. But you know, we're very distinct. Our confidence can come off cocky. We got a different level of swagger about us, and that's why, you know, a lot of people love us. A lot of people hate us. We don't care. Yeah, I'm from Miami. I'm gonna rep the crib every chance I get. So that's the one big takeaway off the field, just me as a person.
A big emphasis on Miami athletes is speed and agility. You see that with Tyreek and AB. What resources do you believe you're provided with to excel in that area?
Honestly, the heat, the heat. You know, the weather. It's always hot. We don't get winters. We don't get a lot of tornadoes, and you know, hurricanes come around every so often. But the big thing for us is the heat allows us to play sports year round. You know, there's a lot of states like up north where they don't have spring football. They don't have track season because it's snowing. Or some spring football for them is just 7-on-7. For us, it's hot year round. So we're playing sports year round. Very competitive track. very competitive in football. So I think that just the competition level and the weather allowing us to have the opportunities to continue working throughout the year is what helps that.
You're a very multi-dimensional athlete. I've seen your film and everything, but you're also a multi-dimensional individual. You dove into music engineering, photography, graphic design. How important is it for you to diversify your skill sets off the field?
I think it's very important. For me, I know at one point all I was just an athlete, and I think there was some time where I took 2 years off of school, and there was a time where I just was lost, without football, and I didn't know who I was as an individual, because growing up in Miami, football is religion. Football is everything. It's we're going to the NFL or you going back home, and that's it. So for a lot of us, if football doesn't go the way that we want it to go, we can tend to get lost and not really know who we are as a person. And during those 2 years that I took off, just being out of school and being away from the game, that really helped me develop as a human being. I started to explore different aspects, different things where, okay, well, if football doesn't work out, I have other talents. I'm more than just what I do on the field. And that was a big realization for me. And I think that's helped me grow as a person.
Definitely good to sit back and kind of look through a perspective and glass and a bird's eye view to really understand everything going on. You're presented with an amazing opportunity. Young guy, you get to go and play in the AFL, one of the premier leagues, NFL Network, top stage. I mean, how honored are you with the opportunity to be one of the 16 men?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's there isn't a big enough word to describe that. Especially due to the journey I've had. It's a beautiful experience. Just even being able to say I get to put the helmet and shoulder pads on one more time. And, even this past season, that was a big thing we stressed to our young guys is that after college, like it's on the fence. There is no guarantee. They say 1% of high school students make it to college, and less than 1% make it to play professional. So I've continued to beat all the odds. I've continued to be a part of that 1% and that less 1%. So that's just it says a lot to my testament, who I am, and the hurdles and how I overcome them. So it's a beautiful thing. I can't wait. I can't wait till that plane touches the ground tomorrow, and just to be in the city, be around the team, and come out there and do work.
Without a doubt. So, how did you get in touch with Coach Solomon, and how did you get that process started? What was your overall free agency experience like?
Free agency, honestly, was a very, very stressful time. I knew it's very stressful not knowing what your next step is going to be. You come from being in college and high school where after each season, you know what's next. It's the off season. Spring football is coming. After that last game, and for me, fortunately, was the FCS Bowl out in Daytona. After that last game, it's like, all right, I'm gonna send some film around. Me and my agent are working, and we really don't know what's next. And the one of the scariest things is, I'm pretty sure every athlete goes through this during free agency. But if no one calls, what am I gonna do? So there was a time period where I'm watching a ton of people get signed before me, a lot of different teams, and it. I like it, So a lot of these teams are on the schedule, so I love that. But I saw a lot of guys get signed before me, and it was stressful because there was guys that, I knew that I was better than. There was guys that, I'm like, okay, I got film. A lot of it's who you know. So Coach Solo saw my film, and immediately we connected, and he gave me an opportunity. He sent me a contract. Me and my agent went over it. We signed it. So now we're here to do work. We're here to win.
You're a very mobile quarterback. You're a dual threat. I couldn't find really any college stats on you, but how much of your stats do you believe reflect your full athletic ability?
From this past season, none of them. Unfortunately, the first game I suffered a high ankle sprain. So not the way you want to start off a senior season, but I think it showcased more of my passing ability because I was very limited to being mobile this season. I pretty much played through the ankle sprain all through the season. And even going into week 2, I didn't practice a single day that week. I was on crutches the whole week and ended up playing in the game. So I played the entire season off painkillers, and and I wasn't able to be my full self until maybe probably the last game of the season. And even going into the FCS Bowl out in December, I still wasn't able. I still wasn't at 100%. So I don't believe my stats this year would really showcase my full abilities, but it did show a lot of my passing ability, especially on the film.
The AFL is a really pass-happy league. You're going to have to be under center a lot, go 3 steps back, throw that ball. So how have you been kind of overhauling your throwing mechanics in the offseason to get ready for that new challenge?
A lot of it's been a lot of footwork, a lot of anticipation, and just speeding up my mechanics to be able to get the ball out faster. A lot of it, just working with a couple different quarterback coaches, J.R. Revere up in Georgia. I've worked with Raylan Garrett down here in Polk County. Working with a couple different quarterback coaches, just working a lot of feet. The biggest thing about getting the ball out quicker is your feet got to be aligned to your targets, and they got to move quick. So as long as I get my feet together quickly, which I've done a great job of doing over the offseason, I know I'll do a great job of doing during the season, I shouldn't have any problem getting the ball out. Everything else is cerebral from that point, just knowing where I want to go with the football.
Xae, really excited to have you on the squad this year. Really enjoyed having you on the show. My final question for you is, what is your message to ICT Regulator Nation and the fans? And at the end of the season, when you look back on this opportunity, what's one goal you hope you achieve?
Well, my message is, it's going to be a fun season. It's going to be a fun season. We're going to win a lot of ball games. We're going to come out and we're going to restore the organization and bring a lot of excitement to the city. I'm fired up. I think a lot of people are looking down on us. I saw the AFL post a couple things leaving us out. So, that always gets me going. But that's my only message, honestly. Hey, let's go play some football. Let's win some games. Let's have fun. We love the fans. We love the culture, love the atmosphere. So we want them to be as involved as possible. What was the second part of that question?
I said, what's one goal you hope to achieve this season?
Oh, to be champions. It's a championship or bust mindset. I adopted that at Langston, and that stuck with me forever. We play 10, 15 games. If we don't win a championship, it's a waste of a season to me. Because what else are we playing for? And my dad always told me growing up, second place is the first loser. So it's championship or bust.
I'm a game changer.